You're late. Traffic tie-up. Samuel Hill. Benjamin Jabowski. We'd better go in. Right. This is the place.
It sure is.
When does the show begin?
In about 15 minutes, sir.
We're here before the crowd.
Would you like to sit near the stage?
No.
Well, where would you like to sit?
On that balcony there.
The show is this way, sir.
Very nice wall you have this way.
We'd better order something. We don't want to appear conspicuous.
Good idea. You can bring me a beer, ma'am, please?
Cognac.
Plan of the building.
Well, I'll be...
Now, the main electrical switch box is located next to the men's restroom.
Good location.
I've studied the wiring carefully, and I believe that by making the proper connections here, here, and here, I think... Miss, where is the restroom, please?
The gentleman's restroom.
It's right over there, sir.
Which way is the restroom?
Men's or women's?
Men.
There's room in there for two.
Thanks.
I'm shy, too.
Set for 12. It's 9:30 now.
2.5 more hours.
Tell me, I was very interested when I got your telegram. How did you happen to hear of me and the League's work?
I read about it in the newspaper. I brought the article here. Mr. Benjamin Jabowski lectures to various community committees on the evils of indecent feminine exposure. Mr. Jabowski states that such exposure is harmful and should be stamped out immediately. I agree.
Thank you. It's nice to know that someone appreciates what I'm trying to do. Clean up this city! Look normal, look normal. Waitress! Waitress, fill us up again.
What? We've got to appear like one of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I've been trying to do the very same thing. Back home. Of course, there ain't many women, but, well, you know, there's a little of this going on and a little of that. And when I read your name in the newspaper, I knew that you and I could do something about this. I want the Wild West to be known from now on as the decent West.
Noble motives. To clothing.
To clothing.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Fine.
What exactly led to your convictions?
Oh, that's a strange story. But I guess we got time for it. Well, it all started in Nevada. That's my home. The partner and I, Jamie, we got this little mine there. I wish you could meet Jamie. He's the finest, soft-spoken fella you'd ever want to meet. Well, one day, he was out riding. That's just about the most pleasant and peaceful thing a man can do. The air was nice. You could smell it everywhere. He had the whole day in front of him, and not a worry in the world. Oh, there'd been some rumors of some, well, indecent things going around on the desert. But a fella like Jamie wouldn't believe them. Why, you could imagine how shocked he was when, out of nowhere, all he could think of were those females parading around in the desert like some new kind of cactus or something.
Shameful.
That's exactly what I told myself.
And so, when you saw some of the work I'd been doing...
I showed the articles here to Jamie. I told him that here was a man with singularity of purpose.
And so you sent me the telegram.
Exactly.
We'd better get a few more drinks. People are looking.
Well, like I was saying, things got worse. Now, he started seeing things. I don't know whether it was in his head or what, but all I can say is that he started feeling awfully strange, hearing little bells and voices. And then it started. Figured it was overwork. I agreed. All that work in the mine with the only female around being a mule, and not a very attractive one at that. So I recommended he go down to the casino. It's a nice, respectable establishment where a man can lose his pay to a couple of nice-looking, respectable type girls. One in particular named Lucy May. Nice girl. And dealt a good game of blackjack. Jamie was a lucky boy. But then it happened again. Came back that night, shivering, drank 7 cups of coffee, smoked a half a pound of tobacco, and wrote a letter home to his mother.
Shocking.
I knew you'd say that.
I'm glad you got in contact with me.
Now, I knew it.
You see, I'm a simple sort of man. I like to mind my own business. I live a good life. I spend my time in simple, harmless, amusing pastimes.
I call it a sort of window shopping. I live in a modest apartment building in the better section of town. There are a number of sweet, unmarried ladies who live in my building. Mr. Jabowski, above reproach. They occupy themselves by preparing coffee and donuts for me, and occasionally have them ready for me as I come home to my little room. They are very sweet ladies, and I love their coffee and donuts. But I was disturbed by the growing influence of vice in our community. I decided that I would do something about it, even if no one else had the courage to. I glanced over some literature, which I temporarily keep in my room for research purposes. It was horrible. Terrible. Outlandish. Where did they get the girls for such things? I asked myself. Especially one, a pleasant-looking red-headed girl. A girl I'd noticed in our own neighborhood. She irritated me most of all, a sweet girl like that. I think her name was, Lucy May. Lucy May with her clear eyes.
reminded me, I dare say, of the romance of my youth. At any rate, I decided I would do something immediately.
Good for you.
Thank you.
The Harem Club, home of the most beautiful girls in burlesque, presents the most beautiful girls in burlesque.
Shameful.
Yeah. Shall we watch?
Let's ignore them.
Well, we ought to know what we're stamping out. All right. What were we talking about?
Girls. I mean, you were telling me about Nevada and the bare, naked women.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jamie, he went to the sheriff. Now, who else would a respectable man go to?
Absolutely.
And do you know what that sheriff said? He said he was crazy.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Jamie, he convinced that sheriff to go back with him to the casino, see for himself. And
he showed them where they was. Which goes to show you, naked ladies have the dirtiness habit of not being around when you want them the most. He figured that meanwhile, back at the casino, they would still be conducting that orgy. So he made sure the sheriff went back with him. It weren't no use. They was dressed. What a dirty trick. Now, Jamie's a peaceful sort of a fella, mind you, and he never resorts to violence of any kind, except when he's mad. It all goes to show you what degradation a woman can drag you to. An honest man in jail. Why, there weren't no justice. Just naked ladies.
Can't trust anyone.
The Harem Club proudly presents Exotica!
that girl reminds me of that Lucy May I was telling you about. The other day, not so long ago, I was walking down the street, and I noticed she was following me. Imagine the disgrace. Think of creatures like that littering our streets. Accosting and following a man old enough to be her brother. And then I realized what was happening. This was apparently it. Art photography. A studio where they apparently created those foul pictures, and here was this girl going into audition, you might say. Monstrous. There was an unusually overpowering lady photographer. I never did like the way those spinsters look at me. I couldn't control myself. At that moment, I wanted to burst right in and nip the whole thing in the bud. I didn't have enough evidence anyway. I retreated to my room. With the proper technological assistance, I would have all the evidence I needed. Mechanical difficulties.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Harem Club proudly presents Miss Laura Cornell.
They're still fat.
reminds me... Yeah. Well, what were we saying? Oh, yeah. Well, things got very bad. Almost uncontrollable. Jamie, he saddled up and he rode out to our mine. I think I told you about our mine, yeah. Well, like I said before, it ain't much. But a man can make a living if he ain't afraid of a little dirt. Well, the thing about it I like, of course, is that a man can be alone. I mean, a man's got to be alone once in a while just to think for himself. Saddled up and rode up to our mine. And when...
It was so good to be back that Jamie started to forget all those terrible things. After all, women can only bother you when you let them. Jamie wanted some peace. That's what he got. 5 of them. All over the mine. Or was it all in his head? He didn't know. All he knew was that he had to get away. By the corral, you can just sit for hours and smell the wind, watch the cows. Sometimes you watch the wind and smell the cows. It all depends on which way the breeze is blowing. Cows is cows, I know. But this was carrying it too far. He started to think he was going crazy. It was a curse of the hills, the curse of the Pink Mountains.
Her posture isn't very good, is it?
A little round-shouldered, but it's difficult to tell from this distance. Yep. She's round-shouldered, all right.
Are you sure you're looking at her shoulders?
Hey, Benjamin, whatever happened to your investigation of that pin-up studio?
Well, I always say, if there's one thing a man needs in this world, it's courage.
Yahoo! How's that? Yahoo? Oh, well, that means I agree.
I could tell my installation in the room wasn't working very well. I needed another inconspicuous device. Something simple, not too difficult to arrange, because, you see, I personally didn't care if I ever saw those women again in my life. defying gravity so that this country's children can grow up without knowing what nudity is. Confounded spinster photographer was blocking my view. Believe me, this creature was more objectionable dressed than the others undressed. And, of course, a dressed woman is a blessed woman, as you say. It was my civil drive spurring me on. I'm an air raid warden, did you know? Also a member of the PTA, the John Birch Society, and the ASPCA. I'm always the first one to picket provocative movies, indecent novels, all that sort of thing. If it weren't for people like me, things like that might be just left out in the open, as though they were normal. However, I never give up. That is, in fact, my motto. E pluribus unum. Never give up. Some sacrifices just must be made for one's country and for the spirit of one's mother. This photographer creature was everywhere. Everywhere I looked, there she was. There was no escape from her. Finally, I was on the inside. Their goose was cooked, I might say. However, such dangers and such difficulties are the price one has to pay for decency. There's a draft at this table. I think so, too.
I was saying, these girls, they were just everywhere. There was no end to them. They were end to end. Everywhere he looked, one would pop up in front of him. I tell you, it was something to see. So, he rode on back to his house. It's a simple place. There's no luxuries at all.
And all Janie could think of was getting home in a nice, warm tub. Jamie hasn't taken a bath since.
Is everything all right?
You think that's something? Yeah. Let me tell you one. All right. I knew where the photography studio was located as a result of careful research, painstaking undercover work. I dug a tunnel right under it. You mean like a mine shaft? I mean like the Grand Canyon. I dug, and I dug, and I dug right under the whole place. Harder, deeper. I pushed my way to the center of the nest of vice. I felt like one of Snow White's 7 dwarfs at that moment. 27 feet underground. The voyage to the center of the cave. Got there, I listened. I knew just where she was. I could hear her walking back and forth, back and forth. So then, very carefully, I mapped out her exact location. I knew exactly where she was. No mistake about it. In a second, it would be all over. I can't understand why these spinsters like me so much. All night, I was tormented in my dreams. Evil demons, that's what it was. Witches and evil demons running around my pillowcase. I couldn't take it any longer.
Is that what happened?
That is what I did, and that is what happened on my honor as a member of some of the most reputable organizations in this community. So these seats are a little rickety, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, diggity dog, let me tell you this one. You was sitting in the middle of this lake, see? In the middle of the water there, see? And what do you think you saw, see?
I can't guess. Tell me.
Well,
Out in the middle of that lake, like a feather floating in the air, finally free of all them women, finally peaceful and contented.
doesn't know what he's missing.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, where's that coming from?
I'm glad to see you're having a good time.
Oh, we're enjoying it all right, wherever you are.
Now, the Harem Kid. Get your hand off me, buddy.
Where are you, Benjamin? I'm on stage. I can hear where you are. I'm coming.
Back, you people, back!
Everyone keep calm. The Harem Club, home of the most beautiful girls in burlesque, has everything under control. Ladies, please, where are you going? No, wait, don't get me. Wait.
Leave!
Let's make an example of those two lectures up there.